me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
Depending on what they're doing, if you want to get into the field, who wants to play for a living? That's how it started off.
Oh, I love it.
Play for a living. And right there, you're going to captivate at least kids for the most part. And then you get into games with them and you say, hey, here's how it starts. And this is what it starts as. You get to provide these opportunities and play and fun for people and families, and could even be a part of it as well. You get to play for a living. We talked about STEM and technology, and we're not just sports driven in athletics and fields and parks, where we get into the arts and we get into cooking.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show Leadership Series. Today, we're joined once again by Kenny Michaels, Director at Wallingford Parks and Recreation in Connecticut. From managing million-dollar capital projects to integrating smart technology and innovative STEM programs, Kenny's team is redefining what community recreation can be. In this episode, we'll dive into how local departments can leverage software and data to make smarter, faster decisions, why community engagement and strategic planning are key to long-term park success, and how creativity, from robotics programs to family events, can help Parks and Rec stay relevant in a tech-driven world. Because in Parks and Recreation, leadership isn't just about managing facilities, it's about building legacies. Let's dive in. All right, guys, we are back, back from Orlando. Oh, you can just press, got it. Yeah. Sorry, we're doing a little, this episode's going to be halfway in the kitchen where you see the cooking and halfway finished product. Kenny, how are you doing today?
We're doing great, Craig. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
Nice to finally meet you down in Orlando at National, meeting you and Sherry. You guys had a nice little setup down there for professionals to jump on and have a quick conversation with you for about a half hour. So it was
Yeah.
nice.
Well, that was our upgraded hardware setup. So hardware, of course, is like computers, mics, lights, stands, all that kind of stuff. And then we call that our hardware stack. And then we have a software stack where I think we're up almost to $2,000 or $3,000. Actually, we're way over $2,000 a month in just software tools, subscriptions. Subscribe to this and the AI will let you use the voice. Subscribe to this and you can edit images. I mean, it's crazy how much software and hardware you need to run a media company.
Oh, I mean, you look like you had a nice little mobile setup. I mean, you didn't think a lot.
Yeah.
It would look like it was pretty quick and easy for you to set up, but I'm sure it had its bumps in the roads.
Yeah, we realized we needed a dolly to roll stuff around. And then we will be attending a couple of events that I'll have to fly to on the West Coast. So we need to be able to put that whole rig on an airplane.
Well, hopefully you didn't have to go too far through that convention center because it was massive.
Yeah, and I've never been in a convention center that NRPA hosts their stuff in and it not be massive. All the ones that they pick are massive cities that have huge convention centers. So
Yeah.
It's always parking issues. It's always long ways to walk. It's always second, third, first floor, third floor, all this kind of stuff.
I was excited because I finally got like my hotel attached to the convention center, but little did I know that, we were in Concourse A and the hotel connected to Concourse F. We had a nice long walk every morning, but got our steps in.
I was about to say, you got your steps in.
Did.
So what are your takeaways from the convention?
It was my second year going. So Atlanta was my first year experiencing NRPA. And last year it was like overwhelming as a first-time professional. Even this year, just based on the size and what the conference brings, you definitely have to prep before you go. It's not one of those, hey, we're going to show up and we're going to wing it. We're going to go to this session, to that session. You definitely got to plan ahead based on the size, based on the offerings. The vendor hall is like no other. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to see. We go to our local, which is run extremely well. It's probably one of the bigger ones in New England, if not maybe the biggest one for a state. We have a nice vendor hall with some of the same companies, but they don't get to set up the same way they do at national.
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
have the full playgrounds, between game time and Burke and Compan setting up their, landscape structures, setting up full on playgrounds. It's pretty cool to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the vendors that are there typically are your national brands that do business with the whole country, not just like one state or two or three states. So their audience that shows up is everyone from all over America, and Parks and Rec shows up to the national conference. So you get these national vendors that really go all out to kind of showcase the products and services that they're and we met so many good ones. Matter of fact, Sherry, why don't you go ahead and play number 4 in a second? This one is one thing we realized, Kenny, is how many vendors were paying attention to the work we were doing, and that walked up to me and said, "We want to be a part of it."
Oh wow.
We were kind of outbound calling to a few people who we thought would be a good fit, but we had some inbound requests of we want to get involved in helping you to create a media company. So what Sherry's going to play for us here in a second is something we made for vendors to be able to understand a little bit better of what we're creating and how they can participate. So we'll play this real quick and then we'll come back with Kenny. Go ahead.
At DPR's Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Esports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.
All right, so the spaces are filling fast. We're not taking unlimited numbers. Even though this is a virtual play, we only have so much bandwidth to create shows. So if you want to be one of the vendors that's working to build this media company, please hit me up on LinkedIn and let's get that conversation going. So Kenny, what were some of the vendors, or maybe describe the vendor hall to someone who's never stepped foot in it? Let's say they've only been to a state convention. How do you describe the differences?
Overwhelming is the first word. When I stepped into Atlanta for the first time last year, looking through and just seeing the size and the setup, it's like, where do you begin, right? Where do you go first? This year in Orlando, I kind of had an idea of what to expect and what to anticipate. But even then, it's like, where do you go to first? Who do you go talk to? I try to stop at some of the vendors that we do use. People like Musco Lighting and MyRec, recreation software. Councilman Hunsaker was there. They specialize in pools and architecture, and they had a hand in working on our new pool project. Stopping at some of those booths, Compan Playgrounds, who we have, several elements and playgrounds of theirs in our community. And just stopping by their booths first, just to kind of like acknowledge them and say thanks. A for and B, talk about their products and what do they have coming up, what's been working for us, what hasn't been working for us, and then you start creating networks with other brands and other companies. Burke Playgrounds is one that's on the rise. As you saw, they had a phenomenal setup when they kicked off and opened up the vendor hall that day. They had a brass band playing, as people walked into the vendor hall, and welcomed them in. And, it's really, it's cool to see. And then you run into companies that you may have never had the opportunity to connect with.
Yeah.
I've heard of Greenfields, which is like, I guess, a company similar to Burke. They were next to them. They had that Ninja Warrior course, and that was pretty impressive to see that fully set up in a vendor hall. If you have the opportunity to go to national and you go through the vendor hall, I will tell you this: it's going to take you more than one day,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely overwhelming. Um, and so tell me about MyRec software. We actually met with several software companies. So we're looking at creating software in Parks and Rec. And I know software is kind of making your life a lot easier. So you're not having to do a lot of these mundane tasks. Or maybe we can start by see if you can remember what it was like before software in Parks and Rec. And then what are some of the things that software has allowed you to do?
I was coming in at a time when, just to give you a little back history on Wallingford, Wallingford is a little bit technology behind, I guess you can say. We're
Welcome to the industry.
transitioning from the 19th century into the 20th century.
Yeah.
We can't leapfrog into the 21st yet. When I got here, the department was using RecWare at the time. So it ended up becoming active.net. It went from RecWare to RecWare Safari, I believe, to active.net. And since we weren't hooked up to the internet, we couldn't get cloud-based, or we couldn't get internet updates.
Yeah.
Either like a flash drive, the CD or whatever sent to us, or a rep to come out. And they were based out of, I believe, Washington State. And finally, it just wasn't a fit anymore. Plus, with some of the exceeding costs, we're starting to go up as well. My previous boss, prior to me becoming the director, did some research, did some homework, and MyRec was an up and coming software company at the time. A gentleman named Ray Foley, who was out of the New England area, I think was in Vermont, New Hampshire, was a startup, was interested in what we had to say. I believe the town of Simsbury was already on as a MyRec client. They were making their way into Connecticut, and for the fee and what they offered, it kind of fit what we were looking for. And then it was nice to also have the ability to help them grow, because we took some things that we saw or that we utilized in the previous software company, and we're saying, if you implemented this, it would help us looking up for X, Y, and Z. And it kind of helped them build their format and their program, which was pretty cool.
Wow. Now, where did you say they're based out of?
Ray
you
was,
know?
I believe, he was from New Hampshire.
Uh-huh.
Oddly enough, I won their television raffle at conference.
Ah,
Sitting in the middle of a session, I get a notification that I had to come down to the booth and pick up the television. But yeah, I believe he's New England based. Ray's kind of like stepping out. His son Ian is kind of overseeing the company now. And they're remote. They have people all over that can help you and log in. But they did get their start in the New England area.
yeah. How long ago did they start that company? Or do you know?
We made the transition, I believe, in 2015.
Oh, wow.
2014, 2015, around
Yeah,
there.
it's almost a decade around there.
So
Yeah.
they got to be around for, I would say, at least maybe 12 years.
And who you said started that company, or you said his son's name?
His name was Ray Foley.
Ray Foley. So what's his son's name, or do you know?
Son's name is Ian.
Ian. All right. I might have to get you to help me reach out to him, and because I really want to create a software in Parks and Rec show, because it's really making, if we're looking for efficiency gains in this industry, that's a great place to start.
Yeah, and it's not a one size fits all. There's a lot of other programs out there that may be able to suit other, your needs or other areas of what you're looking for. For us, MyRec worked. For what you're looking for. I call it dummy proof in a sense. Like you can't really mess it up, or you can make a mistake, but it doesn't impact a lot. To where it was easy to train our folks in the office. They became really comfortable with it. It's really easy for them to use. So, with anything, costs adjust and inflation and things happen over time. So now they're a sliding scale based on your revenue.
Mm.
So our costs have exceeded as our revenue obviously exceeds. So, but it's still a reasonably cost program that we think that we get pretty good value for. And it also ties in with the facilities component. They just recently tied in with Musco Lighting, so you can operate your lights or put your facility reservations in the system, and it could turn on or set the timers for on and off for your lights.
Oh, that's nice.
What I understand. So
Yeah.
we're hoping to get that upgrade hopefully in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually we partner with Outdoor Link. They're a company that has the hardware devices that can turn on and off anything that's electrical in your system. So whether it's a bathroom door lock or baseball field lights, parking lot lights, signage, you name it. So we're starting a show called Smart Cities in Parks and Rec. And that's kind of where those hardware devices that are connected to the internet, now you have control of all these hardware systems throughout your entire infrastructure, your entire city, um, just right with your iPhone or with your laptop or something. And then you can give people access to it. So that's really cool to see all that rolling out.
Yeah, I'd met with them in Atlanta. I talked to them in the vendor hall, and they talked about, your pavilion power you can put on timers and lights and restroom doors like you had talked about.
Yeah.
Uh, all things that, if we get into the 21st century at some point,
Yeah.
we could explore.
And another cool one they're working on, I need to learn more about it from Dave, which he's going to start helping us to create more of the weekly content that we create or daily content that we create. But you know how we used to have these, I guess, billboards all throughout that would get out information. You'd have print paper and you slide it in there, and here's the upcoming events, or you could go on our Facebook or whatever. Well, now that TVs are practically free, you can get like a 50-inch flat screen. You've noticed like all the menus at fast food restaurants are all digital displays, which is just those cheap flat screens.
Right.
Well, so they have a system where you can basically have these digital displays all over your city at different community centers and, entry points and stuff. And then you can just change it and make it say whatever you want at will. And so you can announce, hey, don't forget that we have our 4th of July celebration. We have registration opening for summer swim lessons, and you can just get that information at the entry points. And so I think that's another great way to get information out and use this connectivity, Internet of Things that's kind of becoming so ubiquitous with everything we have in life.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's cost effective now, right? Like you said, if the cost of TVs are going down, it's an easy way to set up some digital marketing.
Yeah. I think I bought a 42-inch TV for one of our shows that we did. And it was like it's under $200.
Oh, wow.
And it was a smart TV with all the Bluetooth stuff at Walmart. It's crazy how efficient our world gets at producing products.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So one of the things I wanted to go over with you was about capital projects and funding. That's something that you had kind of mentioned. So maybe just start with that. What do you mean when you say capital projects and funding, just from a definition standpoint?
So, capital projects are, some of your major projects that, whether they're playgrounds, ball field renovations, lighting projects, pavilions. We're going through a major one right now here in town that took some time. It was a project that started back in 2018, was a renovation of our community pool park. We had a 40,000 square foot. People will call it a pool. The state of Connecticut calls it an impoundment because it was a watering hole that more or less got filled in and asphalted and became a pool. Million-gallon pool in 2018. A committee and the previous director came together to renovate the pool, downsize it, add a splash pad, add a playground, make it more of a Four Seasons amenity than just a summer seasonal. By 2019, the project was approved by the mayor, which was around January of 2019. March of 19, COVID hits and the project came to a halt. Um, didn't get approval. Um, they couldn't overturn the veto on the vote. The council couldn't overturn the veto, and the project sat dormant for a while. New administration came in, um, endorsed the project, went to the town council. Council voted in favor of the project 7-2. The project was bonded for 10.3 million, I believe, 9.2 towards, which is the cost of doing the pool, the playground, the splash pad, pavilion, and then we built in, some contingency to that for any potential change orders, overages, anything like that.
Mhm.
Um, you know, the funding was a big component initially. Not sure where the money was going to come from. The new administration was set on bonding the project. Um, Unfortunately, we missed the window of time in like 2021 when we could have put this project back out when the bond rates were like a 0.5%. Now I believe we're paying, I think it's closer to 4% interest on the bond. So, we could have did a project that, in 2019 that was bid for 7.2 million is now going to cost us, 9.2 plus if there's, any overages. But, it's got a lot of support. It's going to be a focal point of our community. I'm excited for it because it gives us back an aquatics facility in town. Um, and then it does turn it into a four-season location where we can use pavilion rentals. We have a playground. The splash pad is going to be the major amenity there.
Mhm.
That'll give us more aquatics time because then we can open a splash pad from April to September, as needed. If the pool has to close at the end of the year, we can still keep the splash pad open on those weird New England days when you get a 90-degree day in mid-September or the end of September. So,
Right.
exciting things. That's a big capital project going on for us now. Um, I'm looking to put out an RFP for a parks master plan, which will lead into additional capital projects in hopes of revitalizing some of our playgrounds in our communities and get some upgrades, some park renovations. A lot of our stuff that I want to get into, I want to look into data-driven information.
Mm.
So I sat through, several AI sessions at this past conference and talking about different programs like Placer AI, or I think the other one's like city.gov, where you can generate numbers of people coming and going and usage in your parks based off of the cell phone ping. And Placer did they did a demonstration for us, which was really interesting because we utilized one of our parks that I think needs a major overhaul, and it has a great trail system there, but parking's minimal. We have a baseball field there. We have a heavily used pavilion. We just built two brand new post-tension concrete tennis courts there, one brand new post-tension concrete basketball court there, and that should be a centerpiece park for us on our west side of town that has a lot of potential with a lake right on site for people to canoe, kayak, fish. That we can definitely use that as a major capital project.
Yeah. So where are you at in your master plan? When's the last time y'all had it updated?
To be honest with you, the town has never had one for our
Mm,
parks department.
I
Um,
see.
so last year we began the discussions internally here in the office. I picked the brains of some of my colleagues here in Connecticut that have gone through the process. Um, and now we're just getting ready for the legwork and putting the language
Mm.
together to get the RFP out.
And what are y'all budgeting range to spend on? And typically, help me. I'll probably say this wrong, so you can fill in the gaps. But doesn't it take about a year to do a full master plan and get all the input from the community and put everything together? And then isn't that I've heard somewhere between 100,000 to 500,000 on this whole process. Where am I all in on that?
You're in the ballpark. You're
Yeah.
in the ballpark. Generally, what I've heard from some colleagues has been like 150 to 250 based on your
Yeah.
size, how many parks you're looking to do. Um, I think right now we've settled on 14 parks. I think that we're going to put into the mix
Mhm.
because we have some parks here in town that are just pretty much open space. There's
Mm.
not much to do with them. We have one that's literally an island at a three-way intersection that's considered a park, but it's not a park that can be developed.
Mm.
So we kind of zeroed in on, our core locations that we think really need some sort of attention, upgrade, or have a lot of potential for additional use.
Mm.
Um, and that's what we would do once we get, once we get it out. Hopefully we can get it out within the next, I don't know. I don't want to put too much of a timetable on it, but I would say within
Yeah.
a month or two, would be getting that community involvement. There are people in town that want a skate park. There's somebody that's recently come forward that wants a roller hockey rink. There are people that want, more lacrosse fields. There are people that want turf fields. So this will give them the opportunity to look at the space and the locations that we have and say, okay, what makes the most sense and what can fit?
Mm.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, what are people willing to spend?
Right. And so if let's just say you're looking at a menu of things that I'm not even sure what type of company does master plans. Is there like an industry that does this?
It's predominantly architectural firms, whether they're
Okay.
landscape architects or generalized architects. Like Weston and Sampson is that they were at National, and they have a
Mhm.
Connecticut presence in a Connecticut office. They do master plans.
Mhm.
So any type of architect firm that deals in some sort of landscape architect would be someone that
I see. And so if we're looking at a menu of products and services offered for a city looking to do a master plan, and I'll give a few examples, and then maybe we can kind of think of the other 10 that we're not thinking of. But one might be, um, let's take an inventory of all of the assets we have and what's their current real time worth, uh, you know, and then what are some improvements we have to make, like deferred maintenance, and what's that going to cost? And then I guess another menu item that I'm aware of is we need you to help us get community input and ask what the community wants over the next 10 to 20 years. What are some other things that I'm not thinking about that you would want to get from, that company?
Um, I think you hit pretty much all the major points. Age of your equipment, existing equipment on site. Um, you know, if things are starting to age out, obviously that's where you might want to send your focal point to first. Your league people are your big assets. Your league presidents,
Mm.
and they get their people behind you because then they can get some input on some things that they want to see in the parks based on their needs and numbers and what they're seeing as the trend.
League, you mean sports leagues?
Sports leagues, so
Okay.
your youth sports leagues like youth soccer, youth softball, youth baseball, little league,
Mhm.
cross football. We have two football leagues in town. We have a flag football league and a tackle football league,
Yeah.
and they're all vying for the same space. So and that space in the fall is a softball field quad in the spring, so it gets a lot of use. So getting their input and getting them to buy in, um, will help push through the need for some of these facilities or upgrades.
Mm. Yeah, so these leagues, they're obviously in touch with all the kids and parents, and so they really represent that whole community of people that work that having their kids enroll in these leagues. I'm imagining they're all pushing for sports complexes to be built and upgraded and that kind of stuff, right?
100%. A lot of people want to push for um, artificial turf, turf fields, zero maintenance, you know, really minimal to zero maintenance, other than brushing and resurfacing with the rubberized pellets or whatever you use as your infill.
Mm,
Um, but we're getting a lot of push for single use athletic complexes, which is tough because we try to get a lot of multi use out of our fields and what we have. But with that is a lot of wear and tear and a lot of upkeep to it that sometimes it's hard to do.
mm,
So getting them to say, hey, what do we need and what are they willing to contribute and get behind? And then it's
mm.
getting the funding for it, right? Is it going to be taxpayer dollars that's paying for it? Are we going to start getting donations, sponsorships, bonded project? Those are all things that have to get sorted out in the end.
Mm. Okay, so we're getting close to the half-minute break. I mean, the half point, and Sherry's going to be pressing a few things, so I have to kind of. She's in training, production manager in training here. Sherry, you still there? You got to talk into the mic.
Okay, which one do you
There
want?
you go.
She didn't
Okay,
leave.
so
leave it.
I know. Actually, I had to coach a lot of the people that came on the show in Orlando. I'm like, you have to get a little creepy with this microphone. You want it like 2 inches from your face or 1 inch from your face. Okay, so I wanted to play. Let's start with the number 2, which is our commercial on why Parks and Rec.
Every career is a choice, but few careers let you
Sorry, we had a little glitch there. All right, so what I'll do is you'll press the number 2, let it play, but then right towards the air, there's some like them dead space, and before that cuts back to me and Kenny. You want to hit YSM Youth Sports Mastery, this one here. So we actually have our Youth Sports Mastery show coming up right after this. Let me change the name on it real quick.
Oh, nice.
And that's what she'll be having to do the stage management without me on that. So it's literally trial by fire here.
Is that what Aaron is Aaron doing?
Yeah. That's what Aaron Locks. This is Thursday show at I'm sorry, wait, today's Wednesday, so that's tomorrow. Okay, we have time then. Well, we'll promote it anyway, just for practice. So what you'll do is you'll press when I say go, you'll press number 2, and then at the very end before it stops, you'll press number 7. So you go 2, then 7. All right, go ahead and hit it.
Every career is a choice, but few careers let you touch lives. Not once in a while, but every single day. Step into a park on a Saturday morning. You'll hear children laughing on the soccer field, families gathering for a picnic, seniors walking the trails, finding health and friendship. And behind every smile, every memory, is a Parks and Rec professional. We don't just mow fields, we grow confidence in young athletes. We don't just build playgrounds, we create safe spaces where childhood thrives. We don't just plan events, we design moments that anchor generations. Think of the coach who teaches patience, the director who champions equity, the staff member who sees potential in a child no one else believed in. Every day, Parks and Rec professionals shape character, preserve beauty, and strengthen community. And the path isn't easy. Budgets are tight, resources stretched thin, but the reward, unmatched. Because what you give comes back in legacy, in healthier communities, in lives forever changed. So why dedicate your life to Parks and Recreation? Because here, your work never ends. It lives on, in laughter echoing across playgrounds, in green spaces preserved for the next century, in the young professionals rising to lead tomorrow. This is not just a career, it's a calling, it's a legacy, it's Parks and Recreation. A message from the Parks and Rec community.
At DPRS Media Co., we don't just create content, we elevate community through storytelling. Now, we're proud to introduce the newest addition to the family. Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery, the podcast where champions are shaped, not just on the field, but in life. Hosted by National Academy of Athletics founder Aaron Locks. Youth Sports Mastery dives deep into how youth sports can empower kids, strengthen communities, and build leaders. From coaching culture to recreation strategy, and from player development to parent impact, every episode brings game-ready insight from the people making it happen. Youth Sports Mastery goes live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics and powered by DPRS Media Co. This is where purpose meets play.
All right. So did you catch that first commercial about why you should consider Parks and Rec as a career path? What do you think of that one?
I liked it. I don't think I think it's interesting because I see my former university, Southern Connecticut State University, has morphed into more sports management
Mm.
component where it used to be a recreation heavy concentration. And I often worry that sometimes that concentration may go away and it may be considered just sports management. So I think we do have to advocate a lot for what we do in the profession. Um, you've been helping greatly with these shows and getting people on and professionals in the industry on to talk about what we do, and hopefully that branches out to other people in areas of our field and community, and can actually see like the importance of
Yeah.
recreation.
Yeah, well, we'll be picking up, 2 show hosts, so Megan Cool and, David Ramirez, both of which have much better stage presence than me. They're way better at this, and I think they told me since they were little children, they always wanted to be in broadcast media. I'm like, "This is perfect. Now's your chance."
Jump on in.
That's it. So they'll be each doing weekly shows, which is why I've got to train Sherry because, then I'm gonna be doing something, and this was the issue we knew we were gonna face is that if we want 168-hour round the clock, 24/7, 365, I can't just do it all.
Right.
So we're coming up with a system where we onboard show hosts, and then we have a producer in the background that's operating all the software. And so this is that phase 3 that we're doing to kind of get that message out. Because like you said, it's unfortunate that it's a best kept secret. Um, and that this is a discovery major because it's such a powerful industry and it's in every community. You can literally live anywhere because every city's got a Parks and Rec department.
And it's there, right? Like you said, like you all have one, whether it's a municipal town department or a county, parks district. Um, and I think what people are starting to realize is we're more than just your sports, right? People think of parks and recreation and they think of sports and
Mm,
fields and parks, but we've morphed into a diverse offering of programs here. You and I had touched on it, and I wanted to touch a little bit if I
yeah.
could. Was our STEM programs, our science, technology, engineering, and math, that we started back in 2015 with a local teacher here in town named Chris Stone. He was a fifth grade teacher, and he used to run the Young Astronauts program. And he started getting into, STEM started becoming a thing around that time, and he dived into it, and we started doing some programs with him. And I was just crunching some numbers the last couple of days and looking at it because him and I are meeting on Friday to talk about some new potential summer program ideas for next year. And we started in 2015 with 7 programs and 102 kids. um, 2023 we were at 60 programs, 720 kids
Mm,
in STEM programs.
wow.
Registrations, I can't say kids, so it's 720 registrations. Currently, right now, I mean, we're at 37 programs to date with 400 kids or 400 registrations.
Yeah.
So we're seeing how that's grown over the last 10 years. That we're bringing in people to recreation that it doesn't have to be sports oriented.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know,
why do you have to say registrations? Is something age discrimination or age group or?
registration because it could be the same person multiple times,
I
right?
see.
So
I see.
Craig
Yeah.
can register for robotics. He can register for 3D printing, and he can register for the robotics team. You
And
know,
y'all have those that y'all are offering right now? So robotics, software, stuff like that?
so we did video game design, we did 3D printing,
No way.
and it's pretty cool because our Vex Robotics team. So I pulled up some stats, and I was talking with Chris Stone this morning. So since we've started this, our Vex Robotics team has been to the nationals 2017 to 2022.
Now you
The
said Vex? What does that mean?
Vex Robotics, it's the title of it. I couldn't give you the exact what exactly it is, but what they do is they build as a team engineered robotics, functioning robots, or remember like erector set type things,
Yeah, yeah.
and they design things that will function to that extent.
Mm,
They've won on the state level here in Connecticut, and they've represented in nationals from 2017 to 2000. I believe you said 24.
yeah,
Um, and it's getting kids into the technology component, not just the video games and the iPads. It's hands-on um, work where they're actually like figuring things out on their own.
yeah. Yeah, and then more and more companies, I know Tesla's one of them that I follow closely. They're like, "We don't care if you have a degree or not. If you can do these tasks, you're hired." And if you have any experience in robotics, which now between YouTube and online content and what you're offering, a child can pick up all this, skills.
We do summer camps, we do school vacation camps, we do family STEM nights where they come as a family and design,
Wow.
different components and different elements. Um, we did a partnership with the Connecticut Air and Space Museum where they went up there for a portion of their camp. He's
Is
done
anyone else doing this, like that you're aware of? Other Parks and Rec departments?
other Parks and Rec departments are getting into it. They do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's to the extent that we do.
You should
Um,
give a talk on this, like at some of the conventions.
you know what? I thought about it when I came home, and Chris would probably be really good if I brought him along, because it's been his passion. He actually got out of the classroom. He convinced the school district that the school system needs this component, and they need somebody designated it to bringing it into the classrooms.
Uh-huh.
And they took him out of his fifth grade class, and now he's like the STEM coordinator for the Wallingford School District.
No way. And that's your son?
No, no, no. Chris he's a fifth grade teacher.
Oh, he's fifth grade teacher. Okay.
He's a fifth grade teacher.
Yeah,
No,
I'd love to do that. So let's schedule a show to talk about that because I really believe if this is the kind of skills that need to be taught in our educational system, and especially curriculums that can pivot immediately as things evolve, because things are evolving so fast with AI and hardware and software and robotics that you need a program like yours that can just teach real time what's the latest.
yeah, and they try to stay on top of what the trend is. They're heavily grant funded, which is impressive.
Mhm.
But a lot of that is results driven, and they're able to show what their kids are able to produce or where they're going to compete, and that's how they're able to get that grant money
Yeah.
in for the program.
Now, what's his name? Is he on LinkedIn?
Chris Stone, I believe he is. I can link you guys up together. I
Yeah.
can start a chat.
Gary, look him up on LinkedIn. See if we can see if he pops up. Send him a friend request. Let's get this thing going. That's something I'm excited about.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. He's a Wallingford resident. My youngest son had him as a fifth grade teacher his last year before he left the classroom, and one of his best times that he's had in school, because the same way Chris taught that class is how he teaches the STEM
Yeah.
class. And there was a lot of hands-on work and interactive stuff, and he
Yeah.
gravitated to it.
He said Chris Stone,
Yeah,
in what, Waldford, Connecticut?
Wallingford.
Wallingford? Maybe
Yeah,
type in Wallingford. Yeah, you might have to connect us with a group chat.
actually, it's Chris
Um,
Stone.
Christopher Stone.
He went with his government name.
Yeah, that's what happens. Mike and Michaels, you know
Yeah.
how it goes. Yeah, that would be great. Do you know if he does that? Are you the only Parks and Rec department that he works with, or is there any others that he works with?
He works with one. He works with Cheshire, which is next to ours. It was a town
Yeah.
to us. Our previous director from here retired and went there, so brought some of his programming there. I believe he was in the town of Hamden for a little bit, but I don't know how far else he's expanded to. Um, between
Yeah.
obviously his teaching job, and then he's got a fully staffed group of educators that help run these programs. We designated one classroom here just for them,
Yeah.
that we morphed into just a STEM classroom, and it's pretty well utilized. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool to see, especially in the summer.
One thing that we're getting ready to launch, this is another show that's already launched. We're just in the background trying to prepare it for mass distribution. But we did a show on esports with the Rec Room, which is a monthly show that we produce for the Daily Parks and Rec show. And out of that, we are now putting together a league where Parks and Rec departments that have esports gaming rooms can compete against other Parks and Rec departments across America. And then we'll basically run leagues in different games. It's going to be on probably Saturday, midday or something, because esports is just exploding. And a lot of Parks and Rec. I don't know, do y'all have anything with esports?
We did for a little bit. It ebbed and flowed. It did well, obviously, during the pandemic when
Mhm.
people were home. Kids were looking for ways to communicate, and esports became an avenue for them to do so. Once society got back to the norm, I guess it kind of faded a little bit for us.
Mhm.
But not to say it's not something we wouldn't look to get back into, especially if we
Yeah.
got competition on our hands.
Well, that's kind of what I was looking. I'm like, you do need kind of some kids need the facilities because they just don't have it. But I would think that a kid can maybe meet each other at your facility, but then they can also play on games from home, so they can kind of make the local connection. And then once we get the leagues going, then they can participate in the league play.
Right. And
So
I mean, you could be playing somebody from Louisiana, from Connecticut,
that's right.
and then you have a national ranking or standings, however you put it into place.
Yeah. And one of our video designers is a gamer. They may all be gamers, but Chris is a big gamer, and so he was so excited because I was like, I want to create something kind of like uh, UFC when they show the two fighters. You can have each team, or like when football players play each other and they show like the offensive line on and the defensive line and their faces and their like action shots. Like I want to do it, so the kids really love it.
What's going to be the game at hand, though, is the question. What's going to be, what are they going to be playing?
We'll have different games because you're right. There's like first person shooters, there's command and conquers, there's all type of games that there's the what's the like the Roblox or the what's that big one, Sherry?
Call of
Call
Duty.
of Duty, but there's another one, Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Fortnite's a big one. So I don't know how long these leagues are going to play, but the point is, me, it's just like let's just start. We'll figure all that out as we go.
See what happens. If it happens and it takes off, great. If it doesn't, it's just like anything we do in our field programmatically, right? We try
Right.
it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, how can we make it better? And if we can't, then we move on and see what else we can do.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly how it works. Um, okay, there was another thing I wanted to go over. What are the upcoming trends? You had mentioned paddle,
Padel.
padel.
Yeah, it's a similar sport to it's a combination of like racquetball
Oh yes, it's like racquetball, tennis, and pickleball.
all in one, played
Yeah,
indoors.
because it's like indoors, like glass all around it. But that, how big is the court? About the size of a tennis court or smaller?
Smaller, um, almost the size, I think, of a racquetball court.
Yeah,
Um, we've been hearing it from one of our sport court vendors who just built a facility in, I think, in Branford, Connecticut,
yeah,
um, where he built pickleball courts. I don't know if he has tennis courts on sites. He may, and then he built padel courts, however you
yeah.
call it. And he kept telling us, he goes, "You'll see that this is the largest growing sport in the world." He goes, "Pickleball is the largest growing sport in the country." He goes, "Padel is the largest growing sport in the world."
Mm,
I've yet to see an outdoor court or any town that I know of put in a court. They may be there, but I have to take a ride over and check out his facility. I mean, he's
yeah,
only about 25 minutes away.
yeah. Yeah, and I heard that it was actually had a tennis pro, and he has a tennis company that helps Parks and Rec. Like he'll manage all your tennis complex and actually bring in a bunch of his um, connections to run huge tournaments and stuff. But he was telling me about it. He says it's the fastest growing in Europe
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know about the American market though.
No, the U.S. market is still pickleball heavy. I
Yeah,
mean, saw it at the conference. I mean, Musco had a giveaway at their booth. They were giving away a package of it was 2 pickleball rackets and 4 pickleballs. And
mm,
then, Wednesday going into the convention, going into the vendor hall, Burke was giving out pickleball rackets. I came home
yeah.
with 2 pickleball rackets. So now
That's it.
now we have to play.
That's it. Yeah, pickleball is definitely a lot of my buddies are into that. I kinda got into the yoga stuff. That was because I was working out with this group. By the way, have you heard of F3?
Yes.
Have you done it yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you need to go do it.
Really?
Yes, I was, thanks to Jason out in, Charlotte. Is it North Carolina?
Yeah.
Um, He was a guest on my show, and he mentioned it in conversation, and I went to one workout. It's just basically early. I don't know if you're an early morning guy,
I am.
but it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. guys just outdoor for free, just doing workouts, and it's peer led. So somebody volunteers among the group, and there's probably 30 or 40 in your area that work out every. And I think there's like almost 40,000, 35 or 40,000 men that work out across America every morning.
Wow.
And so I joined a group here and absolutely love it. I'm going to get them to come onto the show because most of the stuff they do is on parkland. They just find a green space in their local community, and that's where they work out, like in some random park.
Get it over with. I mean, that's another thing like we'd love to explore is, an outdoor exercise area. And that's something hopefully in the master plan, we can kind of strategically put it in at that park I talked about earlier, Community Lake, because there's a nice parcel of land where I think that would fit perfectly where it kind of overlooks the water.
Yeah.
And, from there you can go for a run on the trail and come back and be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So aside from Padel, any other trends that we see coming in?
not, you know what, nothing crazy that I've seen yet. Family activities are starting to pick up for us, where families are coming together. We do family STEM nights. We're doing more family craft nights, whether it's, mother, daughter, father, son, parent, child, whatever it may be. Just family time in general. I think today's society, sometimes we're a little overscheduled and overbooked between various activities and sports. And I think some downtime with family, whether it's an hour, hour and a half, whatever it may be, we're starting to see some people starting to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like there's just a lot more, what do they call it when an activity shows up on the park unannounced? What do y'all label that? Like pop-up activities?
Pop up or drop ins.
Pop-up or drop-ins? I've noticed like a bunch of yoga people, running clubs. I know F3 is kind of a pop-up where they don't really announce they're coming. They just kind of show up and use the park. How do
Yeah,
y'all handle that?
some issues for us a little bit, like, scheduling wise, or if something's already booked there, or
Mhm.
there are a lot of other variables as far as liability. If somebody gets hurt out there, who's responsible? So we get into certificate of insurance, permits, scheduling, all that stuff.
Mm.
We're not opposed to some of that stuff, but then there are people that go out there and work out on their own anyway.
Right. Yeah. At what point do you think it comes from like, father and son just throwing the ball back and forth next to the playground to, 20 people kicking a soccer ball around? At what point do you kind of say, we love that you're here, but can you fill this out?
If it's an organized activity and it seems to be a team operated or league operated sport,
Uh,
we're willing to work with anybody. It's just providing us the proper information that's necessary and needed, and then we
Yeah.
can get your permit. If it's an organization or some sort of group that's using the activity, sometimes, or I would say not sometimes, but most of the times, we're going to require a certificate of insurance just to
Yeah.
show there's coverage. That's important, because if something were to happen, especially with kids, we want to make sure that people are compliant.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, let's see. Any other topics we want to cover before we come to the end? I do have a question for you from our previous guests, which we could actually do that because I think it's a good question. Hold on, let me pull this up. It's all the way at the top. All right. So this comes from Jonathan Skinner,
Okay.
who is also, this is back to back. So I rarely do part twos because I'm still trying to get through all the people at Parks and Rec, but we're doing a part two with you, and we just did a part two with Jonathan Skinner. He was episode 116. And let me see what episode you were. You were 118.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. So y'all are literally, man, that's what a coincidence. He was episode 116, you were 118, and then he came on at 283 and you came on at 284.
Jeez.
That's
Our schedule
close.
step there.
Yeah, not planned. All right. So his question to you is, let me copy it. I'm gonna put it back on yours. Okay. How do we maintain the positive communication with our community that is overwhelmed with technology? So kind of understanding that today's world, the people we are working with in our community are bombarded by technology. How do you maintain positive communication within this environment?
We've been, again, a little slow to the game or behind on the times a little bit, but we've been trying to send a lot of messages out utilizing technology and social media, sending a lot of positive messages through the programs that we're currently offering in live time, post program or post event wrap up videos, talking about the event, give people snapshots of what's currently going on. I try to do a video, weekly or bi-weekly of the current construction projects at the pool. We maintain communication and through email systems with people, just
Mm,
keeping them connected to what we're doing, what's going on. MyRec has a great software component where you can email blast or text blast people, so they're getting information directly to their phones. We're fortunate; we're in a 40,000 square foot facility, so the foot traffic that we have coming through our place on a day to day basis is pretty steady. So we get a lot of FaceTime with people, especially coming and going or going through classes. So we take time to talk to people. A lot of people we see because they're here 2-3 days a week. So we know on a first name basis and generate that communication and FaceTime with some of our residents goes a long way.
mm, yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy how much we are getting immersed into screen time, I guess you could say, whether it's a little screen or mobile screen or desktop screen. Um, so I think if you're not communicating through those screens, I'm not sure how else how else there is to communicate nowadays.
Tough. Like I said, like we have that ability to where we see a lot of foot traffic through our building. So we get some face to face interaction on a daily basis, which is nice.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think today's society, the norm for them is getting it right to their hand, to their phone, to their laptop, however they use their means of communication, because they want it instantaneously right in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what question do you want to leave for my next guest?
Oh, geez, you put me on the spot here.
Uh-huh.
You always ask what is your why, but I guess for professionals in the field, what gives you that continued drive to do what you do? We all for those of us that are lucky to go to conference, we kind of get rejuvenated going there and hear people speak and connect with people from all over the country, and we kind of get like that drive back, right? We kind of get rejuvenated when we're there, and we get excited because everybody is there for the same purpose.
Hmm.
So, what keeps you as a professional driven to keep doing or delivering the message of Parks and Recreation?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so the last tradition we do is if you're standing in front of a group of undecided kids, classroom, or let's say you've got a big group of part-time summer camp workers and you're in orientation, director, whoever standing in front of them, and you're getting ready to give them a small testimony to why they may want to consider Parks and Rec as a career path. What would you tell this group? Little
Who
60-second pitch.
Depending on what they're doing. If you want to get into the field, who wants to play for a living? That's how I'd start it off.
Oh, I love it.
Play for a living, and right there, you're going to captivate at least kids for the most part.
Mm,
And then you get into games with them, and you say, "Hey, here's how it starts, and this is what it starts as." That you get to provide these opportunities and play and fun for people and families, and could even be a part of it as well. You get to play for a living. Now it comes
mm,
with, its ups and downs and its political moments, but we provide play for people in a community, over various different programs, right?
mhm.
We talked about STEM and technology, and we're not just sports driven in athletics and fields and parks, where we get into the arts and we get into cooking. We have preschool, we have health.
Mm,
We have a multitude of different things where it doesn't get stagnant.
yeah. Oh, and then you've got special events and farmers markets and festivals and
Which our farmers market just got nominated as a top 5 farmers market in the state of Connecticut.
what? I'm a farmers market junkie.
Are you?
I love farmers markets.
Yeah, by one of the newspapers here. I believe it was like the New Haven Register, the CT Insider. We were named one of the top 5 farmers markets in the state.
Oh, I'll have to come see it if I'm ever up in that area.
By all means, come visit, man. We love
Yeah. I used to live in Pensacola for about a year, and I thought we had a great farmers market, but they put us to shame. And it's been running forever. It takes over the entire downtown. It used to be part of the Parks and Rec department, but it got so big that it had to become its own department.
Oh, wow.
And I love seeing that because I mean, you have these local vendors that just come out and artisans that just come out, and it's all day Saturday, and most of these get born inside of Parks and Rec department. It's just another thing that they do kind of under special events kind of stuff. And so I'm always encouraging Parks and Rec departments to get one going if they don't have one yet.
We took this one over. It was actually run by we have a group in town that's it's not a town agency, but they work with the town closely. It's called Wallingford Center Inc. And their job and their role in town is to promote the downtown businesses, help
Mm,
businesses thrive. And we
yeah.
partnered with them on events and stuff. And they used to do the farmers market, and it was very more of like a quasi craft farmers market.
Hmm.
We had taken it over, gone through a couple of different um, market like supervisors. We ended up landing on one. Gentleman ran the farmers market in the town next to us and did a phenomenal job with it. And he ended up taking on ours and leaving theirs. And now he runs ours and the Guilford Farmers Market in Guilford, Connecticut. And John has done a tremendous job with it. We're actually, this will be the third year we do an indoor market. We're actually moving it to our facility, and we're going to do it in the gym this winter to give people still the farmers market feel
Right.
opportunity, from November to beginning of April.
I could see, Kenny, we're going to have to do a part 3 and a part 4 because part 3 is going to be with Chris on STEM,
Yep.
and then part 4 is going to be on farmers markets.
Hey man, I'd love to. I appreciate the opportunity. I think you're giving us a great avenue to talk
Yeah.
about what we do, and it gives us that purpose that you've talked about.
Yeah.
And it gives us an opportunity to hear ourselves actually, say what that purpose is.
That's it. You got to tell your story to get good at it. That's the only way to do it. And that's just through repetition that we get a very tight message that's able to go viral. So it's just best to just press record and, start getting those reps in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even I had a nice chat with Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Meeting you, him and I talked for a while, and getting into the whole youth sports component. And he's like, we have a whole conversation that we can put on a show right here. So I said, whenever you're ready, man, I'm up for it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming back. I can see you're just going to be a regular on the show, but you've got a great message and we want to help amplify it. So I appreciate all that you're doing.
I appreciate you, Craig. Thank you very much. And thanks, Sherry. Great job today on your training.
No problem. Thanks.
Thanks. Good seeing you, Kenny.
Good seeing you guys too. Take
Yep.
care.
All right. Bye. All right. So that was Kenny up in Wallingford. I have New York. It's Connecticut. So yeah, we're learning over here. So what we're doing is Sherry is a lot of you met Sherry at the Orlando convention. She was the one texting you. And what we're doing is we've got 2 more shows with a host, just like Aaron. And now y'all notice you don't see me on the Youth Sports Mastery show. I'm behind stage setting everything up, pressing all the promos and stuff like that. But we're getting ready to have Megan Cool. Shout out to Megan. She is going to be running the YPN show. And then we're also going to have David Ramirez, who is helping us to co-create with Outdoor Link. And thank you for their sponsorship. DJ, appreciate all the money you're sending us so that we can hire more editors and equipment and take this show on the road and amplify this, everything that we're doing. So couldn't do it without guys like y'all. So we're going to have a smart city show. And so one of the things we're going to have is we're going to have the second producer aside from myself that's behind the scenes. So that's what Sherry's been practicing. All right. So while we're practicing, teach y'all or we're just kind of cooking here in the kitchen. Sherry, I think what we'll do is we'll close it out with just say that inside
I think number 6.
Yeah, we had mentioned number 6, which is our YPN show. And then before it closes, hit the end stream, top right button. Okay, now you see how it, now don't hit the second one, otherwise it'll end it. But so what you'll do is now you can X out of that. Just hit anywhere like below private chat on the bottom right, just to make that disappear. There you go. So what you'll do is let's press number 6. And then before number 6 ends, you'll hit end stream.
Are you ready to lead the next generation of Parks and Rec?
Sorry, I'm still practicing. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close out the show, guys. Thank y'all so much for attending today. We got a lot of exciting things coming. We've got secured lots of good funding, have a lot more funding coming in. Shout out to Suzanne and Randy, who's helping us to connect with strategic partners. If you are as a vendor in this and that's serving the community of Parks and Recreation and would like to get in on helping us to create a media company for this industry, please reach out to me and we'll see if we can co-create a show together, get you some ad spots in our newsletter, in our regular promos that's in our, not sure if y'all have been catching the replays, but the design team has done a really good job of repackaging and polishing up some of our best older shows and replaying them at 6 p.m. and at 9 p.m. Eastern time so that you can, because we get some great shows. And I know some of them were recorded so long ago, people aren't going to go redig in the content library. So we're kind of like digging them up, polishing them up, and then redistributing them across our network. So we're getting a lot of bandwidth here as we move forward. But all right, so I'll go ahead and close things out. This is Craig LeBlanc, the doorman with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. We'll see you here tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern for another episode of Leadership Series, immediately followed or with about a 30 minute break between that and Aaron's show, the Esports Mastery. It's a Thursday show all about youth sports. If you haven't caught Aaron, he's got 40 years of experience in the coaching and athletic industry, and he gets some of the best guests. That's a weekly show every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And so those are our shows tomorrow. And then Friday, we have our Young Professional show at 12 noon Eastern. So glad to see everybody in Orlando. Look forward to seeing y'all at the state conventions that we'll be attending. And love you guys and thank y'all for all the support. All right, go ahead and hit it.
Are you ready to lead the next generation of Parks and Rec? Whether you're a student, intern, or rising leader, welcome to the Young Professionals Network by DPRS Media Co. Our mission? To empower early career professionals in parks and recreation through mentorship, visibility, and real-world leadership development. Our vision? A national network of passionate, prepared, and purpose-driven leaders who shape the future of public service. Starting now. Powered by the Daily Parks and Rec Show, YPN gives you access to exclusive interviews, career-building resources, behind-the-scenes content, and live events, all created by and for the next wave of Parks and Rec professionals. Learn from seasoned directors, build your brand, get involved with national conversations that matter. Whether you're in youth sports, facilities, programming, or policy, YPN is your launchpad. Young Professionals Network, your career, your community, your story.
At DPRS Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Esports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec. together.